one thing was for sure. They both believed Sparks to be a total tool.
Be an exciting contest which shows that divorced couples can still have fun together, right?
Mythological hero H-list. C. On the spot dice spin.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
You win!
Well, another year of game show garbage is coming by, and that means we had our vote for the Patrick Wayne Award. And you know what? If Varner didn't win it, I'm glad this show did. Now, to be honest, I can't do this one by myself, at least not anymore. I'm older and I have a lot more stuff going on in my life. So to help me out, I'd like to introduce you to somebody special. She is the brains behind the Buy a Ballot board. She also helps out on GoldenRoad.net and a whole bunch of Spectrum One programs. And she is our new Dumb Answer of the Week correspondent. I'd like to introduce you to my good friend, Jessica Brand.
Hello there, Game Show Garbage. My name is Jessica Brand, and you can find me on my site, Buy a Ballot boards. I tend to work at the Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, kind of go back a bit. I was thinking of new strategies, new ways to beat the house as best as lightly as you can. You never know what strategies might be right underneath your nose.
So now we get to the meat of the matter, and a show that got almost every single thing wrong. It's time to head down to the local Family Dollar, which doesn't exist in Washington, by the way, and check out Save to Win.
Welcome to the show where smart shopping leads to money in your pocket. Our Family Dollar store is filled with hundreds of great brands at everyday low prices. And those products just might win one of our team's $5,000. It's time to save to win!
Save to Win is a show sponsored by Family Dollar, and it's about as cheap as the items you'd find at your local Dollar Tree, if not even cheaper than that. In the intro of the show, host Pat Neely says that smart shopping leads to money in your pocket, leading us to believe that we're going to be pricing items all of the prices right.
The host for the show is Pat Neely. Pat Neely is a celebrity chef. I'd say he's probably best known for Down Home with the Neelys, but as much as he tries to be Steve Harvey here, he's not. So you really don't get a good view of what really he is as a host in general, unfortunately. I will say I kind of like his catchphrase, the "Oh no!" whenever someone's wrong.
Hey girl, what do you think?
Tuna fish? Chicken on the sea?
Oh no! You
I'm sorry. Now, that's going in the intro next year. Oh no!
I mean, it does stand out, and it kind of does add kind of a lighthearted air to the moment. He does have a funny reaction when it comes to that. Unfortunately, that's probably all you can say about him beyond the catchphrase. He doesn't really stand out. He doesn't explain anything too much, and he doesn't really add a gravitas to any of the moments, unfortunately. He is unfortunately part of the flaws with the show, in my opinion, but again, he did have potential, kind of like a lot of my thoughts on the show. Potential, but no actuality.
Yeah, Pat Neely is really out of place here. He tries to be as smooth as peanut butter, but winds up as rough as sandpaper. He was originally hired to be the host because there was going to be a segment where Pat would cook a dish based on the items from Family Dollar. More on that later. Taking away the part where he's really good at left him looking completely lost. It's also safe to say that he's desperately trying too hard to be something like a Steve Harvey light. Overreacts to simple things, macking on the ladies, and multiple other instances of ripping him off. We already got the genuine article on Family Feud, and we don't need any more like him on any more game shows.
So in round one of Save to Win, basically you'd have kind of like a toss-up question, basically asking which one is the name of, let's say, the Pringles mascot. I don't mind this too much personally. It's kind of like mixed between Wheel of Fortune and Supermarket Sweep with the mini sweeps and toss-ups for real. I mean, I get it. Questions about the products really aren't bad because, that's accurate about the products, and to be fair, you do have to have knowledge about a product in order to, let's say, save about it. I kind of got the connection about this. It's not too bad, I guess.
It's not that bad of a round, but it's definitely not good. Plus, we're not really getting into the saving department that Pat talked about in the opening. Also, some of the contestants can be dopes when they miss easy questions with obvious wrong answers.
What was the name of the man who invented the first battery? Was it Peter Alkaline or Alessandro Volta? Brian and Lydia.
Peter Alkaline?
Oh, it was that.
Round 2 is smell, touch, or taste, and it's the only round worth anything, to say the least. One contestant is backstage while their partner is shown 3 food items which his partner will either have to identify by touching, smelling, or tasting. The partner will pick which one they'll either taste, touch, or smell, and the one backstage does it while blindfolded in a chair that you could pretty much buy at Family Dollar. For each food item that they get right, it's 1 item in their cart, or point as normal people would call it.
I'd have to say I like it a lot, actually. I think it's the most fun part of the show because as much as you really can't interact with the products, like you can't smell them, you can't taste them, you can't touch them, for instance, you can shout out pretty easily about what you can actually do with them. Like, let's say you get like tuna or Vaseline or something like that. Obviously, you want to smell that because it's in the world's top 10 recognized scents and so forth. But, I mean, this isn't bad. I mean, I wish there was a little bit more than 1 item right in the cart per. But beyond that, it's not bad. It actually looks like fun. It's something I would try to do like at a party or something.
We're gonna go with Swedish fish.
Oh, no! It was actually just pickles!
Then round 3 for the show. So basically you have smart coupons for everything. You have 5, 7, or 9 items in a row placed in a Family Dollar bag. You have the teams go back and forth to memorize the items that have been repeated. If you give an incorrect item a repeat, or if time runs out, then the other team gets the points. I mean, the game concept is okay enough, but it's not saving to win. Memorization of products unrelated to prices, like you just have to know, like let's say Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal, or the Family Dollar holiday candles. Like that's not related to anything related to saving to win. Where's the pricing aspect of it again? Again, good concept for another show. Like it worked for Classic Concentration's Endgame. You look at that, right? But it doesn't really work for Save to Win, unfortunately, given, again, who the sponsor is, the point of the show, and, well, the title.
Well, it's a decent final round and brings up something irritating. Where is this saving that is supposed to be happening? We've gone through the entire front round, and the closest thing to any sort of saving or shopping are these dumb smart coupons that are being advertised on the show. The title of the show has become completely pointless. So, will there be any saving on the bonus game?
Oh, no!
Instead, we have a wall of 20 items with $20 amounts ranging from $500 to $1,000. The contestant must pick 2 items from that wall, and if the dollar amounts match, they win $5,000. If they don't match, then they win the amounts from the 2 items. It's an absolutely nothing bonus game. Plus, you don't save to win on the show at all. Heck, it's a bunch of mini games from other shows, and they were done better on the original shows.
My issue with the bonus game is you don't save to win. It doesn't have anything to do with really knowledge of the products. Picking a number and hoping it matches is great for a lottery show, but this isn't a lottery show. It's a grocery product show sponsored by a store that mocks a grocery store in its set. Doesn't make sense at all for me. I don't understand the point of why you need to make that a 1 in 19 chance for that small of a prize either. It's 5,000. It's not a million. It's not 100. It's not even 10. Like, I get they don't need to make it much because of the network constraints you're dealing with and the viewers. You don't have to make it totally chance. It's too hard for what it pays out, in my opinion.
So now the big question is this: can the show be saved? Well, the brain trust here at Game Show Garbage are going to try to put that to the test. Heck, if I could figure out a way how to save the college rivalry shows from The Price is Right, I could easily figure out this. So Jessica Brand to help me, I'm sure we can do it right now. Okay, let's fix Save to Win. Are you ready, Jessica?
Let's do this.
Alright. Round 1. Basically, the original format, a item would come off of the conveyor belt and a question would be asked about it. That has nothing to do with saving. Is that true?
No, it doesn't, but it's not a terrible
it's not a terrible round by itself. How I see it, like Supermarket Sweep wasn't always about like finding the products or whatever. So I mean, so far that's okay. I don't mind the start.
Right, but I have an idea on how to make it a little bit more about pricing and saving. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
An item is coming off of the conveyor belt, and Marianne scans it, and a price will come up. And the contestants must figure out if that is a Dollar General super coupon spectacular price or the MSRP price.
All right, so it's kind of like that one game in Supermarket Sweep. They sometimes show that you would have to say, is it too high, too low, or is it just right? Kind of like that, I guess. I mean, not quite, but it bears some similarities.
Right, or which one of these three items is on sale.
Right, yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm. And if you get it right, you get a point. If you don't get a point. So, do you think that would work?
I think it would work. I'm just wondering how it would come across as an opening. That's the only thing. I mean, theirs wasn't too dynamic of an opening either, to be sure. But I feel like you need something to jump out at you as it relates to the gameplay, no matter what show you're doing. Like, be it introducing categories or introducing your product or something like that. Like, I feel like there's a lot you could do with this, and just overall speaking here beyond the round, to make what you're doing more pronounced overall.
Mm-hmm.
I think yours is probably a bit better because, as you say, and as is a recurring theme, you are probably actually trying to save to win in this case.
And that is what I would want from certain rounds. And then we get to round 2, which is common sense.
Yep.
You know, you gotta smell one, you gotta taste one, you gotta touch one. I think both of us agree that it's a fine round because it breaks up the monotony of pricing.
Yeah, I personally really like this round with the one caveat that you can't really interact with it. You can decide as you're playing along at home, that you should definitely have the player smell the tuna. Like if you remember, like that's one of the top 5 scents for the human nose to recognize, for instance. But beyond that, you can't really play the round at home, which is kind of frustrating when it comes down to it. Like with Jeopardy, for instance, you can shout out your best response to a final Jeopardy, and it's like you're playing along. With this, well, you can give suggestions, but it's not quite the same experience, in my opinion.
True. So we wouldn't change anything about round 2.
No, not at all. Until they get the 4D smell aromatic, then they need to get that involved. But that's me.
Oh yeah. Let's get to round 3, which was the list. We came up with a way to fix this.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, it reeks of David Rupert's shopping list, or the ABC list, which would be fine if you're actually shopping for these things and they led to something. But as it is, it's just a memorization game that you're really not shopping for so much, in this case, as much as the presentation would dictate otherwise.
I call this round Don't Go Broke. Like, you're giving a save-to-win gift card, which Marianne, I'm probably getting the girl's name wrong, but the show didn't provide much effort, so I'm not going to either. Scans a Family Dollar gift card and shows how much left. $4 or something. You're given 5 items. 4 of those items are under $4. One of them is over $4. You gotta figure out ping-ponging back and forth which ones are under $4.
Yeah, it's kind of like it kind of reminds me of a mix of the Rich List and the Price is Right Scran game in that sense. And it'd be very interactive for Mariana and Pat to basically interact with, because you could say, you could also have alternatively in this, not necessarily, but if you wanted like a build-up, like a bid round, like, oh, I say that I can name 3 products, or you could have them alternate back and forth depending on, well, whatever you choose. But there's certainly more creativity, and in your suggestion, Sydney, the contestants actually save to win as opposed to memorize to win. Like last I checked, when you're going shopping, we live in an age of iPhones. You don't have to memorize things anymore. We've had parchment paper since the printing press by Gutenberg. This thing doesn't have to be committed to memory.
Nope.
And it's very strange. I'm just trying to think of beyond the Family Dollar tie-in name, and it might be just that simple. Why is it called Save to Win? I know you're supposed to save when you shop there, but that doesn't really dictate the name at all. I mean, whether or not you're in a Family Dollar, because it would be one thing if it was like a corporate tie-in with their slogan, but it's not that. It's just frustrating in my opinion, because there's so much potential here that I think is untapped, and I wish I could like the show more than I do. And I will say this: I like what Mariana did actually within the show as kind of the grocer bagger. I thought he did a very solid job as having a genuine smile and appearing interested for the sake of the contestants. I want to give her a little shout out in that respect.
Mm-hmm. She might be the best human element on the show.
Yeah, I'd say that because you don't really get to know the contestants terribly well, unfortunately, in a show that's not really pressed for time. And Pat, well, Pat, I'll give him credit for trying, but really not the execution. He's kind of like that invention that came to you in your sleep one night. Looks great on paper, doesn't really work in execution.
Or in his sense, oh no!
Yes. And let's not forget, I mean, the show had some issues with the oh no's beyond that. The show on its Facebook page, because I was curious about its Facebook likes, it gets about the GSN number of likes, which I'm not going to berate them for that. This is a tough show to market on a small budget network. That happens. What I don't excuse, though, is Mariana liking the early Facebook posts, Pat Neely liking both on his personal account and his public figure account to like the post early on for the show to artificially like the boost counts. That reeks of overinflating it and creating an unnatural interest in the show. When you have to do that, you know you've got kind of a problem on your hands to start with, and that's kind of unfortunate. I feel bad for whether or not they chose to do that of their own accord or otherwise, but I don't like seeing that.
Agreed.
Like, I mean, if you want to find out Pat Neely's personal Facebook, it's out there now because he decided to put it out there. Like, I worry about that for his own sake, honestly, if you really care that much.
All right, now we get to the bonus game. I thought about this.
Mm-hmm.
How would you do a saving when it comes to the wall? And I don't think you can.
I think you could. I do have an idea for that.
All right.
So my idea is you have the Price is Right game, pick a pair, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to match the prices to win on the outset. And that's your baseline of an idea. Which, and what you have to do for that is you have to find products that are below a certain target price, which is invoking that grand game element. So you're matching the products that are the same, and you're also saving below, because you can say, all right, today you got a budget today of $5 to match up those products on the wall right over there. So you do that, and basically you're saving because you're still under your budget that way. Kind of, you got a lucky 7 kind of thing going on there, and you're matching the products, so you're saving to win in that sense. As it is right
credit
now.
Card.
Yeah, credit card too. Like right now, you've got a 1 in 19 chance to win $5,000. The average episode of Supermarket Sweep paid out the $5,000 approximately every 1.23 episodes. And that was 20 years ago. It was 15 years ago at the most recent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a low budget channel, but let's be honest, PAX and Lifetime weren't that big either, folks.
You know, when you originally described it, I originally thought it would be something. You were describing something along the lines of the classic concentration endgame.
Yeah, not quite that. That would be interesting too. Although I think it would be kind of hard because you're dealing with teams. If you made safe to win a solo game, like kind of a spin-off game, I would have fun with doing it then. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just do credit card.
Yeah, basically credit card, but you do have to make the products. I think they should match because that way you kind of save to win, or you could do it as a pure credit card. I mean, there's a lot of good options for this. Not what they chose, because my problem is twofold on this. One, you're dealing with products that have no relation to each other besides the same dollar amount, which seems extraordinarily arbitrary. And the second fact is, for a show that's sponsored by a convenience small grocery store, a lot of the products on the wall, if you paid really close attention, were the same ones that were used in the main game. Why? Yep. That doesn't make sense. Your whole set is a grocery store. You're sponsored by a grocery store. You can afford to do 20 new products, really.
Oh, I just thought of it. What you can do.
All right, go on. Go on.
Super Saver!
Interesting.
All right.
I think I would want to make it more than $1 to save, just because of inflation reasons. But yeah, I like the underlying concept for sure.
$5.
Yeah, I think 5 is about right. Or you can make it 10 if you're dealing with bigger products. But again, it wouldn't have to be. It wouldn't have to be a flat amount. I would certainly make it flexible for whatever reason. Just to vary the products up.
Right. I would say if you save $5, you get 5,000.
And it's easily, the budget is not an issue in this case because you can make it very hard to win that at $5,000, or you can ease it up relatively easily. I mean, they got lucky that nobody won the top prize, to my knowledge. Spoiler, I'm sorry, but that's completely out of your control at that point. What numbers people are going to pick when you set up a game like this, you have a means to control the budget, and that's, as someone with a finance background, that's kind of ideal.
That nobody wins the 5,000.
Well, that too, but that you can actually control how hard or easy it is to win the particular setup of the time. Because random number picking is not skill-based, thus it's not really manipulatable.
No, it's just pure luck-based, and by the way, you're right, nobody won it.
Yeah, and I don't like that as a budgeter. It doesn't draw up interest from the show when I'm looking at a supply chain and marketing perspective for my product, and if I'm someone trying to publish this show. And if I'm someone from finance, then I'm thinking, that's great, we're saving the money, but at the same time, we're not really controlling the setup. So in theory, if we're that much unlucky, there's nothing we can do to stop these outflows. You have to maintain a way to get inflows and outflows respectively in your games. It's what makes The Price is Right actually very financially solvent.
Oh, yeah.
Wheel 2, a lot of other shows, but those are the primary ones that come to mind because chances are you're betting on yourself to solve a puzzle or pick the correct price or item or whatever it is.
I think we have officially saved to win, or at least fixed it a little bit.
Yeah. Now, where's our family dollar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, now we need a catchy black chorus to sing us off, right? Can we get that?
Sing!
I love the theme to this song.
Saving dollars! Sing!
I gotta admit.
And Jess! Saving dollars.
I will admit, the theme song to this show does remain in my head, and I have to give it credit because I think it's actually very catchy. I think it's good. It's really simplistic. It's very sugary. It's very vanilla. But that doesn't mean it's not fun. It's got a very, very good treble beat to it.
All right. Now, if you excuse me, I need to get back on cam.
As the show stands right now, it is not good whatsoever. The only round worth anything is smell, touch, or taste. Aside from that, it's just nothing, and Pat Neely has to be one of the worst hosts that we've seen in recent memory.
As for my final thoughts, I think they showed a lot of potential. I will give the CW that, but unfortunately that potential was unfortunately wasted. Like so much other potential we see really in so many different areas, be they game shows or otherwise. And as much as Pat Neely had cooking segments that were reserved for behind the scenes, they really didn't give enough quantities on ingredients or anything. Because as much as you have a good foundational basis for a show, and I like the concept of having a grocery store sponsor the show, the execution left a lot to be desired. And it got my vote this year for the Weenie, but I wish it was a little bit better in that regard. It's a shame, guys. You have a good basic concept, but not really execution. Sometimes what works out on paper doesn't really work well in practice.
Save to win? More like dare to be stupid if you ask me. I'd like to thank Jessica Brand for helping me.
You're welcome, and thanks again for having me on board. Appreciate that.
And next time, we'll have the winner of the very first Viewer's Choice poll. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Hey, forget it.